Tell me, are we ready? Ready for the world? So I'm here like just looking around because I'm like, are we live? We are live. How do I add $1 million? Can I really add $1 million in the next quarter, the next 6 months, the next month? You could probably, depending on if you had the right product, you could in a month, but definitely in the next 6 months for sure, the next 12 months. I'm going to tell you how. This particular moment of Tequila with Tiffany is me cutting through all of the foolishness and that builds up in our heads about what we can and can't do, and giving you a simple roadmap that you could implement in the next 24 hours for sure. The question is, are you willing to do it? So if I give you the formula on how to get to $1 million, or how do I add $1 million, I'm looking in the air because I just got off of a call with one of our clients, and I saw that she was making a left move. And what it reminded me of is how easy it is to get distracted when we're on a roll. We think that we need something else because someone has told us that we're missing something. So like you're running a $500,000 business, $1 million business, and then all of a sudden someone says, oh, the answer to your problem is to go do the thing over there. And I'm like, go do the thing over there. You don't need to do the thing over there. How can you do the thing over there if you haven't properly done the thing right here? How about we just do the thing right here? I was trying to explain to her this philosophy that I have. And I was telling her that, just like Tequila with Tiffany, the truth is that, like, I can't really say it doesn't work, nor can I say that this is not the right move, nor can I say that we have done everything we can, because I guess until like let's say I'm on a platform like Facebook, until I have 3.5 billion people or 2 billion people who have watched the video or who have tuned in for Tequila with Tiffany, the truth is that I haven't exacerbated everything. Most of what's in front of us is simply we haven't actually maxed out what's in front of us before we jump to something new. Max out whatever's in front of you before you jump to something new. It's easy to look to people to your left and your right and you feel like you're doing it wrong, and they make you feel like you're doing it wrong because they give you an illusion that you're doing it right. Forever and a day, I think that I lived in this space of feeling like I was doing everything wrong, but that only came about when I was comparing myself, or when I allowed other people's ways of life and ways of being and ways of doing to penetrate what I was doing. You know what? Here it is. I poured 2 cups. Look at me messing around. There's an equation problem. You got 2 bottles and I got 2 cups. This don't work. This don't work for nobody. Here you go. This one's for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's try one. No, we're going to try the same one.
Got it.
Okay. Jalapeno pineapple margarita. Anyone ever had this one? So I can't open this. I can't. My hand hurts. I can't turn anything. Okay. So let me tell you, I was asking myself, what's one of the basic principles? So my number one statement to you is back to the basics. Stop doing new things and go back to what worked originally. Stop doing new things and go back to what worked originally. And I didn't know we could do that. Once you have created this color look interesting on the left. Can you shake it? I know, I'm sorry. We're shaking it. So go back to what worked in the first place. Why do you have to do something new? The only reason why you should do something new is when the thing doesn't work, when it's broken, when it's out of focus, when it is, thank you so much. You could have poured first. So these are our Kool-Aid glasses. On the rocks, jalapeno pineapple. This is going to be so good. We're going to see if this works. Why did you leave what was working? Cheers. Oh. Well, that's a serious cheers. Mm-hmm.
Eye contact. You know what they say. Don't make eye contact.
Why am I slurping?
Right into the microphone.
Why am I slurping? I am legit like... Okay. This is good. Jalapeno on the rocks. That's good. jalapeno margarita on the rocks. Why did you leave what was working? So the only time that we should leave something that's working is when it breaks and it doesn't work anymore. The truth is that if you haven't gotten to your goal, you can't to a goal. You actually can't say to the world, well, this thing doesn't work, this method doesn't work. No, you haven't done it long enough. Basic principles is how I got to my first 6 figures, my first 7 figures. It is how I stopped putting my kids to bed hungry. It is how I built real relationships with my friends and my family, my friends who have become my family, but like my for real family, not this pretend stuff I see. It is by doing basic things. Let me tell you about the couple of the basic things that I do on a regular basis that allows me to grow. But this week, I've doubled down on how I do them. Whenever I walk into the studio, for the most part, all of our team members get a hug. They get a hug, like all of them. Doesn't matter if they're just an intern. I could shake them, I could wave, but the truth is that, man, we're still here and we're alive. I actually want to do things with touch. I want to hug. The second thing I'm going to tell you is that how you doing? What's going on? The third thing is we crack a joke. We at least crack 10 jokes a day. We have to. And we have to because that is what allows us to have a round robin good 24 hours. The third thing is we just keep it simple. So over here, you see these sheets of paper. And if you're listening to just the audio version of this, I want to transparently tell you in my hand are lists. They're spreadsheets. They're a bunch of names, some phone numbers, emails, etc. Every year, once a year, this year I'm probably going to do it twice. But every year I pull a list or I take the entire database of something and I just reach out to the whole thing. I call the whole thing. I connect with the whole thing. Now, why do I do that? I'm going to try and see if I can see. Why do I do that? Because it's too easy to be disconnected and it's so easy to lose yourself in whatever is in front of you. And so the easiest way to catch yourself or to regain your own strength, your own confidence, your own sense of well-being is to actually touch and the hands that are feeding you. The same thing applies. Like, I feel like there have been too many chapters where there are people who were in my life and they went too long before they reached back out to me. They called again, they asked a question, they sent me a text. And so they retry to surface 2-3 years ago. In 2-3 years, I'm out of the game. I'm already emotionally detached. I don't want to emotionally reattach. Now, sometimes those experiences and moments, they come with good reason, but chances are the real reason why you did that didn't happen is because we were just lazy. If we have customers and clients or people who are willing to open our emails, share our content, connect with us, buy products and services from us, head to night school, come into the studio, do things, the least we could do is take the time that's required to call a list. So we were running the math the other day. And if you pulled your database, and let's say you have 10,000 names on a database, or you took 10,000, the truth is that if you sat one person on your team down for about 2.5 weeks, they could call every person on your database. Now, if you call them, what do you say? Is it about, hey, customer or Mr. Customer, client, I have a product to sell? No, it's just like, hey, how the hell are you? What's going on? Hey, how the hell are you? And what's going on? How are you? What's going on? In the world of which everyone believes that the way to win is to send endless emails, do all these launches, have these bogus Facebook groups, have events where the whole focus for the event is to sell, to tell someone that you have a free item for them, to bring them in, give them nothing for free, and just sell to them, or lie to them and sell to them, or manipulate them and sell to them. Like, come on. People are still buying from people, and humanism and humanistic things is still the number one thing that will win on the planet. So if you wanted to add another $1 million in the next quarter, month, I want you to do some math with me. I said this on the daily tea the other day. So that you're on Tequila with Tiffany. We now have the weekly tea and the daily tea. And if you want access or you want to find them, please ask me somewhere here, because we are just beginning to grab our grounds on separating and properly communicating the different areas in which we're going to be teaching and communicating. But think about it like this. if you have, let's say, like I the other day said, okay, I actually have 7,000, I have 3,000 followers on LinkedIn. I have 4,000 people who I'm connected to who follow me. Okay. So that's about 7,000 people. Let's say we have a list of 10 or 15,000 people. Let's say we then also have we're connected to 800, 900 people on Facebook. There is a call button in the Facebook Messenger. I think it's sorely overlooked. The question is, why is it so overlooked? We don't call people or reach out because we feel like we can't call people or reach out because we feel like it's taboo. But is it? You have a right to communicate to whoever you want to communicate to if you're connected to them. So I was doing the math the other day and I was like, man, between my LinkedIn, my Facebook, and my list, or a specific type of a list we were talking about, I was like, this is almost 40,000 people. And then I said, this is wild. And all of them have a phone button, which means I could call 40,000 people if I want to. Now, do the math with me. Now, I'm talking right now about reaching out to people, but what if you just went to your list? Your list, a list, is the most overlooked, any list, area in which you can just call. Today, our team was on the phone. We just called people. We didn't call to sell them something or invite them to a program or product. We didn't call because we want them to register for a program. Could they have registered? Sorry for the audio. Could they have registered for a program? Sure, but that's not why we were calling. We didn't have any websites in front of us. We weren't about to send them something. We just actually wanted to say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How can we help you? How can we serve you? For me to take 2 weeks out of my time or a week out of my time to just call the people, like, this is a great method of massaging the hand that feeds you. I am nothing. We are nothing without the people who we serve. The people who are on a list right now are the most overlooked, easiest way to just add $1. Now, instead of trying to call a few here and there, I'm talking about, like, imagine if you just thought about the thing you wanted. Let's say you wanted to launch your book. Let's say you were like, I got to get on stage. Let's say you said, man, we have a new service program and we want to put it out. Maybe it's not that. Like, I have a client up in the Northeast, in Connecticut to be exact. And right now, the number one thing is because it's the Shadow CEO program, I got to hire a general manager there. I also need to hire not an operations manager, but like a marketing assistant there. And think of it also like a community development. Imagine if I took 2 weeks and I focused on just reaching out for 8 hours for the day, and that was my full-time focus. You know that you could take, like, it sounds wild, but you could take everything that you're after and you could put it into about a week or 2-week increments, and you do nothing but that until the thing is done. I think that we overcomplicate things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. I really feel like we overcomplicate things. And we overcomplicate things because we feel like we have to. We overcomplicate things because we feel like that's the way we're going to win. We overcomplicate things because we feel like that is the way that we get to the next level, only for us to find out that it is not. We get to the next level by trusting ourselves enough to say, well, I did that in the past and it worked. And I may not understand all this stuff over there, but I do understand myself and this right now. And I'm going to do that. I've made a decision in this year, like, I don't even pay attention or no mind to anything that I don't understand. And I also don't pay no mind to whatever the hype is. I don't care what the hype is. The hype is irrelevant to me. All I care about is what we can execute within our capacity and what we feel good about when we go home. You know what? I want to talk about something else totally different. You don't have to be friends with your family. You don't even have to like your family. Every time I think about the things that have emotionally tripped me up at different chapters of my life, in different moments, it has been me trying to either please my family. It has been me trying to figure out pieces. And I'm talking about like childhood. I'm not talking about even my immediate family. I have my daughter calling me. Hey, kiddo, I'm on Tequila with Tiffany. She's like, I'll call you back later. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Clearly. So there's this idea that we have to like our family. We don't. There's this idea that we have to love our family. We don't either. I'd love to hear if you have a different perspective. The only person that you actually have to love on this planet is yourself. Like, that's the only person you have to love. We could say, well, Tiffany, well, you should. Okay. And that's a different conversation. You should love your family. You should love people. Okay. All right. I heard you. Okay. But I want to be clear. Like, you don't have to. Where did I go and why does this matter? Because every time I think of something that is tripping up a client, like I'm thinking of every client right now as I talk to you who is actually running $1 million plus business. And if I peel back what's happening on the other side of what's not working, part of that constant trip thing happening is related to a family member, a dad in one moment, dad, parent in another. I'm thinking of a brother in a next one. Like, it's always some family drama. And it's not even that it's drama, it's just you carry the emotions as a CEO, as a leader. You're carrying these people with you. You care about them either because you have been forced to care about them or because you were born into them. And because you were born into them or you were forced to care about them, they weigh on you, especially if you're a good person with a good conscience, because you're like, I really don't like this person. I don't love this person, but I know that they're family, so I want to do the right thing. And then you begin this mental warfare of constantly being challenged about what the right thing is. Let me just say this for every human that is listening to this very random deep dive moment of Tequila with Tiffany. It is just you. If you could take the time to ask yourself, like, what has been tripping you from making the next move, and get rid of everything that is tripping you from making the next move and only focus on what matters, you would win so much faster. There was a year, when I was, a lot of people don't know this. I don't think you know this, but you know what I wanted to be as a teenager? That question, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want you to guess. What do you think I wanted to be when I grew up? I don't think you'll ever guess it. This is serious. I'm being serious.
I'm trying to think of what would be something.
So there's two. So there's something I wanted to be when I grew up. And then I had two things, but like, let's say this is ages, I don't know, ninth grade to 11th grade. And then think of, I'm going to graduate or I might graduate from high school if you're Tiffany Largie.
Teacher.
I love that you chose that. No,
I
but
just figure your love obsession with whiteboards and
I do love whiteboards and I resent you for that.
no, you are crazy for whiteboards.
I love whiteboards and I'm going to go back to that building and drag that thing right here. Watch me.
If you could have snuck it in your car, you would have snuck it in the car.
One day you'll walk in and be like, what the force? It's going to be like, don't touch. And it's going to have a happy face on it. So when I was in senior in high school, I wanted to go to Johnson and Wales. And my mom was like, no, you can't go. And she told me that I couldn't go because those chefs they're just big. That's the end result, that they end up big and fat. And she didn't want me to do that. I said, you call it what you want. I know someone's going to be upset about it, but it's the truth. It's what she said. I didn't do it. Now, fast forward, as I got older, now I understood. And as a parent, I have kids, and I definitely say to my, your responsibility is to uh, guard your kids in the left and the right to what you feel like will be the best for them, for sure. But in this particular instance, I was 22, 23, 25, 27. I was 30. I was all these ages, and I still had this passion that I wanted to feed. But because it wasn't professional enough, because it wasn't great, because I didn't feel or look awesome to the world or to the public, and because I didn't feel like I'd be respected, I continued to pursue bigger businesses that were more white collar and blue collar and made everybody feel like I was respectable, even though they weren't the hands that fed me at that point. it's wild to me because now today I think it's the backbone, and I think it's the backbone of why I'm like, I'm going to build a coffee shop, a cafe, something I want to build. But I don't know if it's because I imagine myself in the back chopping up onions. I'm not sure what the thing is here, but I know that there's something serious inside of it. And I think to myself, here I am 20 years later, like what would have happened if I had fed that want and desire? What if I had stopped at 25 and went, shit, I gotta go. But I don't want you to think that I wanted to become a chef. I just wanted to actually like, did you ever feel like that? Did you ever have a chapter like that in your life? Like I didn't actually want to become a chef. I just wanted to be a chef. Like I wanted to do chef things. Like I wanted to have the skill, the knowledge. I wanted to do that thing, that activity. I wanted to understand how to use equipment and blah, 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 blah. And I felt and feel so sad that I never did it. And I'm always pained by the fact that I could have done it, but I chose to manage other people's insecurities, which led me to not pursuing what I really wanted. My statement for you, I don't care where or what chapter you are in life, like whatever you do, pursue whatever it is that you really, really want. So instead of just living for, instead of just living for the basic of what everybody else's life should or could be, I made a decision when I came back to life as a CEO. I made a decision to start asking questions to the people who I care about around me. And I had to make a new like line of me saying, I can't care. I don't have to like every family member, and I don't have to love every family member. And I don't know if that's freeing for you or if that's traps you. But the truth is that there are family members who don't want the best for you. There are family members who sabotage you. There are family members who just, they want to eat from you. They want to eat from you. They want you to go and hunt, and they want to sit and eat. They want you to hunt, and they want to go and farm. That's just not the way it works. I feel like every relationship in your life right now, like adding $1 million is easy if you step to the plate by saying every relationship that I have needs to be 50-50. I'm going to give 50% to this thing, and you're going to give the other 50%, for example. So for me, we have like coaching calls, and we don't actually, this year we don't give any free time for anybody. But in the previous years, we've had coaching calls, and one of our policies on our Calendly or on our calendar when you book a time is that if for whatever reason you book the time, you get to the call, you don't show up to the call, but you also don't tell us why you weren't there, this, that, and the other. Do you know what happens for us? We delete you out of our system. We don't even care. Like we're out the game. We don't care. We don't care at all. We will delete you out the system simply because of the fact that we'll delete you out the system, because if you didn't value us enough to step to the plate, then we don't even want to be your friend. And there are other people who want to be our friends. So why are we going to waste more time with you? We're not going to waste more time with you. We don't have no time to waste in these streets.
Bye, Felicia.
We don't. Bye, Felicia. Correct. We're done. We're out the game. Because I have enough respect for myself. Oh, but Tiffany, that's your cousin from such and such. So I'm going to be dying alone. I don't need to have the cousin from such and such and fourth generation of 55th. If they're a jerk, if they don't share my heart, if they're self-focused, if they're ego-driven, out the door. Because that shit's going to trip me up. And I can't afford to be tripped up, and neither can you. You can't afford to be tripped up. Now, if you can afford to be tripped up, let me know, because I can't afford to be tripped up. You got to taste this. Taste this. Oh, you're doing executive things? All right, fine. Oh, yay. So ask yourself, like for real, I want you to ask yourself, if you were honest with what, I wish that I could show everybody what you're jackass. Are you squeezing a bottle over there?
Yes, I'm trying to get as much. Look at it. Notice how there's still comes out.
This is a margarita bottle. I just want us to be clear on what's happening and what we're doing.
We didn't need to bring that one into the story. It was just this one. Not wasting.
I feel like personally, we give family too much credit. I feel like we give family too much credit. I feel like we give blood too much credit. I believe that it's thick, but I'll tell you, here I am, decades in the game. I have a daughter who's over 20. I have 2 children over the age of 18. I have a child over 12. I have been married for 15 years. I have built multiple businesses, multiple 7 figures. I have a whole studio here. I have an endless amount of parents. I don't have an endless amount of parents. Let's have a moment. I need a sip. Hold on. That clearly did not work quite well. Hold on.
That's on the after hours.
I have an endless amount of parents. I have an endless amount of cousins and all those things. Not endless, but I have enough cousins. And there's an overhype about the importance of keeping family, respecting blood. I can't respect blood if blood doesn't respect me greater than family, friends do. It's a wild, weird thought, but it's true. I feel like the number one thing that is tripping the person who's already doing like 100,000, 500,000, a million is actually their family. They're the whole problem. It's either the family you live with, one, the family who's right around you that you live in too close next to. It's the family who got your phone number. Right now, I want you to know that I tell you this from experience. This is from a person who has seven. I am the last of seven children. This is not from an only child. I'm the last of seven children. I am from, I think between my parents, I think both sets of parents have about 20, I have 25 uncles and aunts, direct uncles and aunts. I believe my father has like 16, 17 brothers and sisters, and my mom has the rest. That's probably 23 or 24, maybe 25. I don't know. But my point is that, like, I know this sounds crazy, but what if you just looked at yourself as an individual and not as the collective? 20 years ago, I made a decision to stop looking at myself as part of a collective. And I look at my children today, all three of my girls, which I'm so proud of. They're beautiful, they're happy, they're not pregnant. They're not thinking of that. They're going to school, they're figuring themselves out, they're backpacking across Europe. But they're good to their mother. They're not grateful to their mother. They're good to me, and they're good to other humans. They pick up stray dogs, they free flies that are trapped. They do all types of things. And if I hadn't have focused on myself and stopped looking at myself as part of a collective, like, we would have drowned. Too many CEOs, I believe, too many great people are looking at themselves as a collective, and that's the thing that is tripping them up. That's the thing that's also preventing them from winning, and that is the thing that is keeping them in the dark. If you even remotely hear me, if I've said anything useful to you, can you just put an emoji in the chat? Even if you're watching this on a replay. I feel like we give family that shares blood too much credit. I do.
Baby, and you got Carmen who just said yes.
We give family too much credit, and then it creates weight. And if you're a woman, it's weight, then responsibility and pressure and choking and all of the above. And it's all the things that it's complete trash. It is complete trash. And I don't know why more people are not talking about it. I am not going to be allegiant to every person who shares my blood. I will not. Not when I have friends who are hard in the paint for me, sacrificing their life, their time, their money, their knowledge, giving me their resources beyond family. You're crazy. I'm never going to do that. That'll never happen. Me freeing myself from that bullshit mentality, and I'm sorry, that like trapped mentality is how I built a seven-figure business. It is why I own a studio today. I don't think there's another Black woman in the whole state of Arizona that owns a studio. I don't think there's another Black woman on the South outside of maybe LA. There are 2 or 3 Black women who are also actresses who own a studio. I think I'm the only one in the Southwest, and I'm probably the only one on the West Coast. Like, the truth is that I know for a fact that if I hadn't have freed myself from the mental warfare that comes from being sucked into this endless vacuum of tricked in your mind and brainwashed and sabotaged with, like, we are family, blood is thicker, and all these other things.
Keisha says learning the hard way about family.
Because then what happens is that you were 30 when you were 25 when you started to feel it. You might have been hustling a little bit. Your kids were 3 and 4. Then your kids turned to be 12 and 13, 14. You were 35, or maybe you were 42 at that point in your life, right? And then this and this was happening, and then you're like, okay, I should have cut him off. Da 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 da. But that they're influencing your kids. Your kids are watching you compromise. Your kids are watching you settle. Your kids are watching you be disrespected by your dad. Your kids are watching your uncle talk to you any old way. Let me tell you something. So right now, there's a whole issue happening in my world. And I'm not going to be too specific, but I had this moment where I got challenged because my daughter, my oldest daughter, had someone in our family, someone very close to us in our family. Uh, they didn't directly disrespect her, but they indirectly. She told them on the phone, I was right there. She told them, you got to stop. You have to stop saying that. And basically, they were saying something about her hair. And Jada was like, you got to stop. This is not going to work. You got to stop. Now, the first 3, 4, 7 times, she was like, hey, you're making me uncomfortable. You got to stop. And you can't say that about me, or you can't say that about us. And it had to do with lumping her, labeling her because of the hairstyles she has and things like that. And she was like, you can't talk to me like that. The end result is that Jada gets to a point where she's like, you're hurting me. And I'm going to hang up the phone. Now I'm sitting right there and I realize that when she says this, and if she hangs up this phone, it's going to be a problem. Now, I also have said, I have spent my life's work is wrapped up in me teaching that child, we are not putting up with shit from anybody. That's just what we're doing. We are not going to be disrespected. We are not going to be not heard. And when you communicate in a fair way, hey, you're hurting me. Hey, this doesn't feel good. Hey, hey, that's not right. And you're not treating me with the same level of respect that I treat you. Now, what happens in most families, especially with women, you get into these scenarios, that person disrespects you. They told your secrets. They took money from you. They were caught up in the drama. They doing this, that, and the third. It's all types of foolishness. It's all types of bullshit, if you ask me. Complete bullshit. And then you're like, oh, well, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe she did that. To whisper, talk. But then you mess around and 3 months later, you at such and such's birthday party. Well, I'm not really going to talk to Jessica because she did da. Jessica comes up and you're like, oh, Jessica, it's okay. Do you know how that works in my book? Exactly how it happened for Jada. Let me tell you how this works. Jada said it for the 20th time. If you say it one more time, I'm going to hang up the phone. And I hate to do this, but you can't talk to me like that. You cannot. Jada said it one more time. The person said it again. And Jada said, I got to go. I'm hanging up the phone now. Click. It has been a year plus since Jada has allowed that person to talk to her. Now, the toughest part about it is everybody in my family is like, Tiffany, I can't believe you allow that. Why do you left that? She can't disrespect them like that. This is crazy. Why are you letting this happen? What do you mean? This is what I taught her. I was exactly what I taught her. I was right there. She gave them the opportunity to do the right thing. Now, when someone doesn't do the right thing by you just once, that is one too many. When you have a family member or a person that's close to you, and whether you express it or don't express it, because I'm going to tell you right now, in that instance, I feel like my daughter went to the next level of expressing it, but I should never, Tiffany Largie, I want to make sure this is documented, make sure this thing is closer so y'all hear me and that the world hears me. I'm never going to tell you how to treat me. I'm going to let you know by my actions how clear I am what will happen when you don't treat me right. If I have to coach someone on how to be a good friend, we shouldn't be friends in the first place. Now, let's say that there is, like, my best friend, she's a great example. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, Candace, if you ever see this, I adore you. And I'm going to tag you because I want to make sure you know how much I love you. So Candace is a great example of someone who makes a decision. And for me, I'm going to go hard in the paint for her forever. Because I said to Candace 10 years ago, hey, listen, I don't know if you talk to everybody and if you let them on the inside, or if everybody in your life, you let them gradually become close to you. But for me, I want to be 100% right out of the gate. So I'm going to be honest at 100%, but I'm also going to trust you at 100%. So I'm going to trust you at 100%. You trust me at 100%. And that's how we're going to do this. Now, the reality is that I don't have to follow up with, don't ever betray my trust. Don't ever talk about me. Don't ever such and such and such. If I have to follow up with those things and I've lost, that's not a real relationship, because I'm having to force you to be 100% for me. I won't force you to be 100% for me. I can't force you. I don't want to trick you. I don't want to ask you, beg you. There are too many people doing that with their spouses. Checking their phone. Where are you at night? Come, da. Well, if you do this, I'm going to do that. Kind of crazy. That type of living is insane. That's crazy. The other way that this happens is that You have a family member who you see all the time. They disrespected you 3 years ago and you don't address it. And then you start talking to them again. For me, they're out of my life forever. Like, I'm just done with the game. Like, I actually don't really have a in between. And it's a period. It really is. Like, you mess around and you did this. Like, I had a family member, very close family member, hustled me out of $100 maybe 9 years ago. Last time I talked to him. Period. Don't even have his phone number. Not friends on Facebook, and I will probably die, and that will be the case. Tiffany, you're so hard and cold. And no, I am not. Why? I only have this one life. Why would I settle for mediocre people doing mediocre things, treating me in a mediocre way when I could have 100 people treating me in an amazing way at the level that I want them to treat me in this life? What are we talking about? I don't have to have a pretend half brother. I don't need that stuff. I got Matt. Matt's 100% a whole brother. And the reality is that I never have to educate Matt or trick Matt or coerce him to do the right thing. I don't have to ask him not to tell my secrets. That's trash. Why would I ever do that? That's dumb. But I do bribe him with chocolate sometimes. Expensive chocolate from expensive ladies. The truth of the matter is that we spend too much time with family and giving family the things that we need to keep for ourselves. And that is it. If I could get you to entertain keeping more of you for yourself, you would have more of a win. So what does this have to do with the list? Very simple. Everybody on that list is like family to me. And I call them, or I ask team members to call them, and we reach out and we do things for them at no cost, and we bring them into our studio and our offices, and we spend time listening to their drama outside of a program, a product, a coaching call, because we're humans. And these people have loved me and cared for me in moments and days when I couldn't care for myself or love myself. And they also loved my children growing up and sent things, bought products, and did things to make us strong. I'm going to be forever grateful to these people. I'm also going to be forever in debt to them. And that's it. That's the end of it. Because I'll tell you, true statement, when I got sick, so I had surgery in February of 2022. I got seriously sick, ridiculously. You know that the 80% of who sent things, showed up, all those things, they were friends. They were community members. I didn't have one family member bake me cookies, but I had a woman in Las Vegas who baked cookies. I had another woman in Utah who baked cookies, and they just shipped this shit all the way to the studio and just let it sit. I had maybe 10 wonderful men who sent flowers. Like, I could tell you things for cards, little crystals. Like, the list is endless. I didn't have a family member send me cookies. Why would I tell a family member to send me cookies? So I don't know where this lands for you, but I will tell you this. In one aspect and one part of this, you absolutely got to do some clearing. And the clearing 1,000% is inside of the things that you tolerate within your family. And you can't be partially in or out. You were either in or you were out. You were either 100% part of or you were not part of at all. Me, I am not going to that picnic afterwards. Or me, I don't want to see Felicia walk by. I'm good. Or if Felicia is there while I'm there, because I'm not going to avoid the experience, I'm not going to talk to her. I'm actually going to say, I have nothing to say to you. We're done. We're good. I don't hate the person. I just don't have room for them in my life. It's different. You can't have room for everybody. It's not about hating them or wishing them harm. No.
We are complete.
Yeah. Like, we're good. Like, I'm good. Like, for real. Like, man, like, I'm good. I don't have room for this or that or you in my life. So we're good. We're good. You have a child that needs to call me because I'm their aunt and they need help applying for scholarship. I'm in the game. But they have their own choice and they have their own road. Me, I just go like this, clean slate. So if you could think about the same energy and effort that you either lose or spend or waste or serve or deliver to the people who don't serve you, if you were to take that same thing over to the left into the people who are already serving you, spending more time with your customers, spending more time calling your list, spending 2 weeks of the next 2 weeks of your whole life and just calling everybody. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Make 4 cups of coffee, make 4 cups of tea, buy your favorite food, wear pajamas, whatever it is. Just call everybody. Just talk to everybody who has ever served you. For what? It doesn't matter. My call this morning went like this. Hey, how you doing? This is Tiffany Largie. Oh my God, this is Tiffany. Oh wow, this is great. What are you calling for? Nothing. I just want to see how you're doing. I'm sitting at my desk with another cup of coffee, shooting the breeze. Just want to see how you're doing. You need anything? Can we help you with anything? Oh my gosh. Right now I'm in a school. I'm with little kids, but man, it's so cool that you called. Let me tell you something that I've been thinking of. That's it. You could take all the things in front of you so much further if you allowed yourself to own whatever the truth is, and if you entertain 2% of what I've just shared, that family that you were born into is valuable when they respect you at the level that you want to be respected, and that they treat you at the level that you need, require, and demand to be treated at. Third or fourth, it's this simple thing. If you don't have that family member who is investing 100% or 130% in you, take your 130% somewhere else to a relationship that will. Imagine if you took that energy and stuff that you've been wasting over here and you put it into the man you won't find, the relationship you're trying to be in, maybe your business, your sales calls. Maybe you took that energy and you put it into learning something new. Maybe you were like, Estella got her groove back. You need to get in shape and just let go of some weight. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's a health thing. Like, I don't know what it is, but you know what it is. Too much time spent over here. And that is a black hole, the Bermuda Triangle. That is outer space. Let me give you another one. Hold on. Never Land. This is the never ending story. Some of you too young to know what I just said. The never ending story. I just went there. I know. I just went there. You weren't ready for that. And you're welcome.